What's up, Jet fans? I just finished watching Week 15, Jets at Jaguars. A win, our fourth win of the season. Um, I think a pretty solid game for the Jets. 32-25 win. Um, like I don't know. There was lots of memes, and even the announcers mentioned it, that the Jets haven't scored 30 points this season, and there's been a handful of teams, including the Chiefs. So, not saying scoring 30 points means your team is good or not, but the Jets are one of the teams that haven't scored 30 points yet, and people were kind of dogging them. But, well, they scored 30 points now, so we can all shut up about that, I guess. Um, Big stories going into the game, right? These were two 3-10 teams playing each other. A little bit of a doo-doo game, maybe. Um, Especially with the Jaguars starting Mac Jones. I don't really like Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's that great. He definitely doesn't deserve to be like the third highest paid player ever, but he is. So that's that. um, but Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence is obviously injured, so Mac Jones is starting in it, and he is a downgrade um, from that position. So that's good for the Jets, I suppose. And like I said, especially this game, this as the first half of this game and the Seahawks game, the announcers have just been tired of the Jets. I think they called the Seahawks game inebriated, and they were calling this game bad. They were calling the players like basically calling them stupid, because they were committing bad penalties. And yeah, the announcers were just calling out the players, and I don't fully disagree with what they were saying, honestly. Um, Right, but that's a negative tone, and I think that this should be a positive video. Aaron Rodgers had a really great game. Devontae Adams had his best game as a Jet. This is actually statistically speaking like his second best game ever. So that's pretty good. A 32-25 win. Basically, we've already been talking about the offense, but just look at these numbers, Aaron Rodgers. Most rushing yards, and maybe that's a issue with that's probably not a great thing. Um, but he also almost had 300 yards. He had three touchdowns. So a great game by him. And like I said earlier, great game Devontae Adams. Garrett Wilson was in there having a pretty solid game. He went quiet, right? It's kind of like Garrett Wilson does some stuff and then he goes quiet, and then Devontae Adams does some stuff. And in other games, Devontae Adams goes quiet, and then it's Garrett Wilson who picks up the slack. But that's the good part about having two key wide receivers. But a pretty good performance from this offense. Stuff to get excited about, right? Because I know the future is uncertain. I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but some stuff to be excited about, certainly, with this offense. They were showing flashes, vintage Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams connection, right? That's why they got him, because of that chemistry they have. Obviously, not going to see anything in the playoffs, but I don't know if we can not even talk about next year, but maybe next year this will be a more solid connection that we can see in meaningful games. Not to like I said in other videos, I like to win. Um, that's what I want to do. And then also there was that Brees Hall touchdown where they probably should have killed the clock. They didn't. Speaking of that, the defense, I've dogged on them all season for being unclutch, and they let Mac Jones score 25 points on them. He threw two touchdowns, and he had more yards than Rodgers actually. He almost had 300 yards as well. But he threw an interception, and then this unclutch defense that I've been like that's been getting me mad all year. Sauce Gardner came in clutch. He was out last game and got an interception. To end the game. So this is what we need to see all year. We haven't. This defense has been one of the worst at letting up points in crucial moments. The announcers even said it. This is the fourth game in a row the Jets have held a lead in the fourth quarter. This is the first one of those four that they won. um, so a very unclutched defense, but like I said, positive video. We won. Sauce Gardner came in clutch. All Jets fans should be excited for this win. Um, You would have liked to seen it all year, but you saw it this game. It's not against the greatest team in the world, but we came in at the end and we won in an away game. It ends Mac Jones' winning streak on us. It ends the Florida streak that we've lost a bunch of Florida games. So it does all these things that I think bad teams have, right? Bad teams have are 0-6 against Mac Jones. Bad teams can't win in a state for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years because we play in Florida a lot. But we got rid of all those things. Like I said, not the greatest performance from the defense, but kind of opposite to what they normally do. They were bad at the beginning, and then they came in clutch for the win. So that's great to see. And like I said, talking about the future, now we get a little bit more negative, and that's why I want to be positive because looking at the schedule, realistically, this might be the last win of the season. I mean, the season's almost over, so it's not like that crazy of a thing to say, but Rams are really hot. Bills are, they're division rivals, so you never know what's going to happen in those games, but they're pretty good. And then Dolphins, you know, they're not too good in December, January, so maybe that will help us out. It will be in New York, so it will be cold and stuff, and the Dolphins always seem to lose in December games and when they're not in Florida. So maybe that's a win. That'd be an exciting way to end the season for sure. Something I want to do. Like I said, I don't care about draft position. I want to win. Um, I don't say that because I don't like. I say that because I think tanking does not work and doesn't help you win in the NFL. But I have other videos about that. Um, but yeah, so trying to be positive for this video because this could be our last one of the season. Um, not not a great season. High expectations, and when that happens and you don't meet them, there are big problems, I guess. And then also the other thing I want to talk about the future, and I'm sure I'll do it in other videos where maybe I'll be more negative because we are going to lose some of these games. But the right, it seems like all of a sudden this week, and maybe it's because we were officially eliminated at the end of last week. So maybe that's why people are not talking about the future a lot more. But it seems like the retirement word is coming up for Aaron Rodgers a lot. And what are we gonna do? I don't fully understand his contract situation, right? Because there's a bunch of money tacked on at the end because he reworked his contract so much. To help us, by the way, he reworked his contract a lot to help us out. He also reworked his contract to help the Packers out earlier in his career. So his contract is a little funny looking. So I don't fully understand it, but maybe that won't even matter because he might retire. So like that was thrown around. The announcers were mentioning that. And me personally, I guess to give my feelings on the whole situation, and I don't know if this are gonna bite me in the butt in the future, but I want him back. um, he's a weird guy. He does some weird stuff. There's like a Netflix documentary out about him now. I think I haven't watched it, but um, I think he's the best quarterback we've had in a really really long time. I don't think he's gonna hit the 4,000 passing yards this year. But I think he's actually going to get relatively close for us Jets. And right, so getting rid of him, I think we're still. It's so hard to describe this team as I mentioned in other videos, but I think that we can still do stuff right. This game, especially, I know it's against a bad Jaguars team. Um, but this game, they're still an NFL team. They still beat other teams in the NFL. It's not like they're terrible, terrible, but that Devonte Adams games, this game with Devonte Adams is like, maybe there is something here. And let's not forget that Robert Saleh was 2-3, right? So definitely a slow start. And there were bad games in there, but he was close to a 500 record. Um, and then we brought in Jeff Ulbrich, and the defense got significantly worse. I don't know how much that's on him, but so yeah, Jeff Ulbrich matched Robert Saleh's wins, and he has way more losses this year. So I think if we get a good coach, Aaron Rodgers, I think if he comes back willing to play, and I think he has to play a little smarter, which he has. He's been having good games recently, but just the eyeball test. Sometimes he'll see some checkdowns, and he won't throw to them because he's used to being, I think, one of the greatest ever, and he'll chuck it downfield, and that kind of hurts us. But right, some of these Devontae Adams catches, some of them were magical, but then some that one that was like his longest catch of his career or something was like a that was the other touchdown pass. But there was another pass that he caught at the end of the game that was like a crosser, like a 5 yard pass that then Devontae Adams did a lot of stuff. So I think Aaron Rodgers, he needs to get used to being older, which I think he has throughout the season, and that's why we've seen him improve because he's getting smarter. Give us a good coach. Right. Hopefully, don't blow up the defense because you fire the defensive minded coach. Give us a good coach, and then we can see what we can do. This game gives me hope for the future, I suppose, and that's why I want to bring him back because if you can replicate this stuff, I think we're a solid playoff team, and we need the playoffs as well, right? I'm not saying however old Aaron Rodgers is going to be next year. I'm not saying he can bring us a Super Bowl. We're beyond that. We don't need a Super Bowl. We need to make the playoffs. We don't even need to win a playoff game. We need to make the playoffs because every year we don't, the streak continues, and the culture, free agency, that don't like free agents want to win. They see that they're like, oh heck no, I'm not going to the Jets. Um, and why would you? We haven't made it to the playoffs in what, like, forever. Most of these players haven't they've been in the league. The last time we were in the playoffs, these guys were in college and high school. That's ridiculous. Um, and so I'm not even saying Aaron Rodgers needs to bring us to the Super Bowl. Right when he first got here, that's what we wanted. But I just want a playoff berth because we need it. You remove that streak. Like, this game ended the Mac Jones beating us streak. It ended the Florida losing streak. You just need to get some wins, build up a culture because we have a losing culture. That's why we fired a relatively good head coach in the middle of the season and then tanked our season. So yeah, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.